Hi, we're on to the second module of our membership program, Algebra 2, and we're going to start with solving quadratic equations, and we're going to look at 4 different techniques. So my name is Anita, and I'm the Maths Exams Expert. Now, if you've just joined us here in the Maths Exams Expert membership, you are very welcome. Can I please encourage you to pause this video now and go back to the intro material and the bonus content, and make sure you watch that video there. It's really, really important that you're watching these videos and using the lessons in the way they're intended to be used, because I know from teaching for so many years, I know how students learn well. I know what effective learning looks like and how it happens. And so please, it's very important that you go back to that intro video so you'll be able to get the maximum benefit out of these pre-recorded lessons. Also, there is a toolkit on there called How to Study for Success in Maths. You really should be trying to use that from the start of 5th year. If you print it off or upload it to your note-taking software, you'll see that you can just fill in your own content, your own topics in there, and it really is designed to be used from the beginning of 5th year. So please print that off and get started on it as soon as you can. So in this video, we're going to look first of all at factorizing and then solving. We're then going to look at using the quadratic formula, which is that minus b formula that you're definitely familiar with from junior cert, and students generally tend to like using it. We're going to look at using a graphical method. Then we're going to see some sneaky hidden quadratics, and we're going to look at applying the technique. So there really is a lot in this lesson. So do take your time to go through each of the videos and make your notes well and do your very, very best with it. Okay, so let's look at a little study tip to start with. So what I see a lot in school is students relying very heavily on the quadratic formula for solving quadratics. Now, the quadratic formula is up here in the corner. You'll recognize it for solving. We sometimes call it the minus b formula. Now, we use that formula when a quadratic cannot be factorized, but many students just go straight to the minus b formula. Now, you should always try to factorize first and only resort back to the minus b formula when you can't factorize or when the numbers are too awkward and very big. If you factorize using that double bracket method that we learned in the previous module, then that skill of factorizing will stay sharp for you. If you're relying on the minus b formula, you'll lose that skill. And actually, you have to be able to factorize for other parts of the course. So you don't want to lose it and then have to relearn it again or realize that there's a part of the course that's just not available to you anymore. The factorizing is faster and there are less opportunities for making slips. So please don't neglect it. Go back to module 1 and relearn it if you need to. But the minus b formula is great. Shouldn't rely too heavily on it. All right, let's get stuck in then. So first thing we're going to look at is factorizing and then solving. So the question says solve the following equations. Now solve, as I expect you probably know, means you need to find the value of x. If we look at this, what have we got here? We've got an x squared and an x term. We don't have a constant, so it's not a trinomial. So we can't do the double bracket factorization. What could we do? Well, we've got a common factor, so let's take that out and see what we've got. Okay, so this is the perfect situation. We want to get to a situation where we've got two things multiplied together to give 0. Because if you've got two numbers multiplied together and they give 0, one of those numbers must be 0. Now, you can think about this in terms of just regular numbers if you want. If you have two numbers that are multiplied together and they give 0, it must either be something times 0 or 0 times something, or it might even be 0 times 0. So if you've got two things multiplied together to give 0, either the first part is 0, the second part is 0, or it could be that both of them is 0. Now, if x plus 5 is equal to 0, x must be equal to minus 5. So those are my two solutions. The example for you to do is very, very similar. So pause the video and have a go. And when you are ready, press play and watch me doing it. But please make sure you have a go yourself. Please make sure you write up your worked example with the title on the page, and all of your notes are going to be clear and you're going to be so happy to have them when it comes to revising for exams. Right, should be okay, I think. Let's move on. So we're still on the same factorizing then solving. Hopefully from module 1, you will recognize that this is a trinomial, a 3-term quadratic, trinomial. And I'm going to write C algebra 1. Okay, so we have got our ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. We'll set up our little table, two numbers that multiply together to give ac and add together to give b. ac is 1 times minus 72. and b is -1. So my two numbers are going to be 9 and 8, and the signs is going to be -9 plus 8 multiplies to give -72 and adds to give -1. All right, so let's split that middle term. I'm just going to come down a little bit here, give myself a bit of space. X squared minus 9x plus 8x, that gives -1x, that's correct. -72 is equal to 0. We split it into two terms and two terms. So we're grouping here. We've got four terms, splitting it into 2 and 2. The second bracket has to be the same as the first bracket. So I need a positive 8 on the outside. Is that right? Let me check. X squared minus 9x plus 8x minus 72. All correct. Right, we factorize again. I'm down now to two terms. And what's common? X minus 9. So take out the x minus 9, and I'm left with x plus 8 is equal to 0. So now we're back to this idea again. We've got two numbers multiplied together to give 0. So the first one is 0, or the second one is 0. If x minus 9 is 0, x must be 9. If x plus 8 is 0, x must be -8. So you can see there are two solutions here for this quadratic. Now, how can there be two solutions to a quadratic? I'm quickly going to show you another little idea here. So what we've got here is we have got a quadratic that has solutions at 9 and -8. So what that means is the curve, the quadratic curve, in this case a U-shaped curve, crosses the x-axis at -8 and 9. And that's not really the focus of this lesson, but I just wanted to throw it in there just so that we can make sure we're making some links and seeing how all of this stuff kind of ties together nicely. How could I check my answers? Well, I could sub 9 back in for x, and it should equal to 0. 9 squared minus 9 minus 72 will equal to 0. And then sub -8 in, so -8 in a bracket squared. Take away -8, careful, -72 should also give 0. So you can sub back in to check. In the Leaving Cert exam, you'll be pushed for time. You mightn't have a whole pile of time for subbing in to check, but if you do get a chance, it's important that you do so. Right, pause the video, write your notes, and have a go at the next question. Right, still on the same technique, but this time it's not equal to 0. So that's a little bit annoying, but let's see. Do we recognize what's going on here? We've got a h squared term, a h term, and a constant, which is a bit like a trinomial when you've got an x squared, x, and a constant, but it's on different sides of the equals. But that's okay. Let's just put it all to the same side. It'll be fine. I'm not happy with the fact that the h squared term, which should be the leading term, that's negative. So I'm going to bring that to the left, and a negative h squared, if we add it to the left side, it's going to become positive h squared. I'm then going to write take 7h plus 12 is equal to 0. I've swapped those around because when we're dealing with trinomials, we like to have h squared h number, x squared x number equal to 0. So now I think I'm ready to go. So back to the same thing again. You're going to be doing these quadratics so much. Please don't take the shortcut and just resort to the minus b formula. AC is 12, B is -7, so my numbers are going to be -4, -3, I believe. Multiplies to give 12. Yep, that's it. Right, split that middle term. Right, two terms and two terms. H open bracket, H -4. Second bracket must be the same. What goes outside? It'll definitely be a 3, and it looks like it'll be a minus. -3 plus 12. Yep, that's correct. So now we have got four terms has reduced down to two terms. H -4 is common. Take it out, and I'm left with H -4 times H -3 is equal to 0. So H -3 is equal to 0. No. H -4 is equal to 0, and H -3 is equal to 0. H is equal to 4. H is equal to 3. Okay. Right. Pause. Write your notes and have a go. Right, so you'll notice there in that question that I skipped a line here. And at this point, I think we're okay to do that. You're not going to lose marks for skipping that line. And I think we've got the idea. We can kind of jump over that one a little bit. So in the next video, we're going to remind ourselves how to solve quadratic equations using the minus b formula.